I really dislike that about me as a person. They don't know me, son. I love this one. But let me be clear. I had to learn quite quickly that this was not the best way to live. What if you could counteract that and become much more productive? Let me summarize the list of key benefits for you. Exercising is hard. Whether that's going to the gym, body weight strength exercises at home, or a HIIT workout. None of these things are easy to do. Putting aside time for rest and recovery is also hard. If your recovery is cold or heat exposure, then that can be a challenging task. Then there's also the things that you consciously choose not to do. Avoiding too much sugar and simple carbs. Keeping an eye on your nutrition as a whole by reducing fast food and increasing the time that you spend cooking whole foods. These are all hard things. It's hard not to get frustrated and raise your voice with your children. It's hard not to get annoyed at the dog when he's chewed your slippers. It's hard not to procrastinate, not to scroll through social media posts too much, and it's really hard to have meaningful conversations. Talking about meaningful conversations, I hope you watched the last video, and if you haven't, please check it out. My name is Bobby, and this is Real People, Real Talk. Let me start off by saying I'm not an expert, just somebody trying to be a better version of myself with the hope to inspire others in the real world to also find more personal growth by sharing my thoughts, opinions, and things that I've learned. What if I told you that doing the things you don't like, the ones you don't look forward to doing, but the ones that are necessary in some way or another, can physically change your brain for the better? An actual change in the structure of your brain by doing something that you don't enjoy. That's crazy, right? Well, don't take it from me. However much I sometimes think I may be a budget neuroscientist, I can assure you I am not. Here is Andrew Huberman telling David Goggins about something he recently learned. It was so relevant to what we know about Goggins that Andrew could not wait to tell him.
I'm going to share a little neuroscience tidbit.
Love it.
But I think it's one that you'll appreciate. Most people don't know this, but there's a brain structure called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. As we pointed out before, that's a noun, it's a name, it doesn't mean anything. Right. We could call it the Cookie Monster.
Right.
But what's interesting about this brain area is there are now a lot of data in humans, not some mouse study, showing that when people do something they don't want to do, like add 3 hours of exercise per day or per week, or when people who are trying to diet and lose weight resist eating something.
Right.
When people do anything that they, and this is the important part, that they don't want to do.
Right.
It's not about adding more work, it's about adding more work that you don't want to do.
Yes.
This brain area gets bigger.
Yep.
Now here's what's especially interesting about this brain area to me. And by the way, I'm only learning this recently because it's new data, but there's a lot of it. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is smaller in obese people. It gets bigger when they diet. It's larger in athletes. It's especially large or grows larger in people that see themselves as challenged and overcome some challenge.
Right.
And in people that live a very long time, this area keeps its size. In many ways, scientists are starting to think of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex not just as one of the seats of willpower,
Right.
but perhaps actually the seat of the will to live.
See, now we're talking.
And when I learned about the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, I was like almost out of my seat. And I've been in the neuroscience game since I was 20.
Now
we're the
we're
same
talking.
age. And I was so pumped because I've heard of the amygdala, fear, prefrontal cortex, it's planning and action. I could tell you every brain area and I teach neuroanatomy to medical students. But when I started seeing the data on the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, I was like, whoa, this is interesting.
Yep.
And all the data point to the fact that we can build this area up.
Yep.
But that as quickly as we build it up, if we don't continue to invest in things that are hard for us, that we don't want to do, that's the part that feels so Goggin-esque to me, that we don't want to do. Like if you love the ice bath, yeah, I love the ice bath, and you go from 1 minute to 10 minutes, guess what? Your anterior mid-cingulate cortex did not grow.
None.
But if you hate the cold water, if you're afraid of drowning and you get into water and put your head under, then your anterior mid and survive, then the anterior mid-cingulate cortex gets bigger. But if you don't do it the next day, Or if you do it the next day and you enjoy it, because hey, I did it yesterday. Woohoo. Happy me. Merry Christmas, as you would say.
Merry Christmas.
Guess what? The anterior mid-cingulate cortex shrinks again.
Yep.
To me, this is one of the most important discoveries that neuroscience has ever made.
What Andrew is saying is that whenever you decide to do the thing that's hard, the thing that you do not enjoy, it will increase the size of this specific area of the brain. The next time you think about whether or not you want to go through with the challenging task that you've been dreading, just remember, by doing so, you will grow and be better. There always seems to be a reason why we could avoid doing something that is hard and unenjoyable. It's been a long day at work, I'm just going to crash on the sofa. I deserve it. Everything else can wait till tomorrow. Or, I know I said I would add another workout this week, but I've done enough activity, so I might as well start next week. And the common one. I wanted to eat more home-cooked meals this week, but it might be better to start another day because I really don't feel like cooking right now. What I think we're doing here is giving into our impulses to take the easier, more comfortable path because at the time of making that decision, it feels much better not to do the thing that is hard. What we miss out on is how good we feel once we have made the decision to go through with doing what's hard and overcoming that voice in our heads that says, let's not do it. I think nowadays, as a whole, it's a lot more common to avoid doing what's hard and come up with reasons why that may be okay at the time. I have certainly been in that position many times. I have talked myself out of a hard task even though I knew that it was the right thing to do. I've tried to explore the importance of doing things that are hard despite not wanting to, and I believe there's 3 key reasons why it's important. The first one is future-proofing. I strongly believe that by choosing to do the thing that is hard and unenjoyable, you increase the likelihood of doing hard things going forward. From the conversation Andrew and David had, it appears that there is some data to support this. By growing your anterior mid-cingulate cortex, you may become better at tackling hard things. Imagine being a little stronger, a little more resilient the next time you face any sort of adversity or a challenging project. Imagine feeling like a situation that others around you feel impossible to deal with could feel a lot easier to you due to the work you have put in by embracing hard things. The second reason is flexing. I don't think you can get much more motivation than when you can tell yourself that you're managing to do something that others may not be able to. Being in a position where you know that what you're doing will not be replicable by your friends and family can make you feel extraordinary and give you a level of confidence that you would not have had before. This could be anything, ranging from your consistency and intensity in the gym, how you manage your time, or even the hours you're able to put in for your studying. And the third one, in line with the purpose of the channel, is forming. All 3 of these reasons go hand in hand. But here I'm talking about creating new habits, making your mind and body stronger, and becoming a better version of yourself by overcoming challenges. As always, I don't believe that this is all of the reasons there are. These are just the ones I come up with when thinking about my own experience. As you watch this video, you will most likely think of your own reasons why you feel it may be beneficial to do the hard things, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I do believe that our avoidance of doing the hard things contributes heavily to how much we procrastinate during our daily lives. What if you could counteract that and become much more productive? Just being able to knuckle down and get stuff done whenever it needed doing. Let's go through the reasons why doing hard things is important. Look at some examples and see how they help us grow and allow us to have ultimate amounts of discipline. Future-proofing. I believe the brain is wired to look for the easy way, the way that uses the least amount of its energy. We enjoy being in our comfort zone. It feels familiar. We've been there before. We know how it plays out. There is no surprises. Our brain is a pattern prediction machine. If something comes along that needs the kind of attention that we are not familiar with, it can most likely raise your heart rate a little. Do you fight or do you flee? I think the stimuli for making you enter your fight or flight state have changed significantly over the last several 100,000 years. It started off pretty simply with anything that was a threat to your life, like the familiar saber-toothed tiger that I love talking about. Nowadays, we don't have to worry about the saber-tooth, thankfully. Instead, we enter this heightened state before giving a presentation or speech, during a job interview, a difficult or meaningful conversation with our friends or partner, or even a not-so-favorable comment under our most recent Instagram post. With all that being said, it is becoming easier for us to choose not to do the hard things in life. We end up procrastinating, putting things off to the mythical time of later, whilst we enjoy the things that give us comfort. I certainly went through a phase in my life where this was true, deciding not to do the unwanted things even if they were necessary, hoping that it will all work out. As I got older and my responsibilities increased, I had to learn quite quickly that this was not the best way to live. But it wasn't until I started to do the hard things routinely when it really hit me. Doing hard things makes it easier to do other hard things going forward. I started to realize that the reward was in the future, and it wasn't about looking for a reward in the process. For instance, if you decided that you're going to start your day with a 20-minute HIIT workout every morning, it is going to feel real hard to get out of bed. You will feel like you don't want to do it prior to starting, and you won't enjoy it too much during the process. However, seeing that you've burned nearly 200 calories before the day has even begun, feeling more alert and awake because of it, and knowing you're contributing towards your overall health and well-being is a pretty good reward. Add to that the fact that if you face something hard to do during that day, you have the benefit of knowing that you've already completed burpees, mountain climbers, squat jumps, and high knees. You overcame that, so whatever comes next is not as bad as you think it is. Flexing. I love this one, but let me be clear. This is not done in a showing off kind of way. It's more of a silent flex. The kind of flex that happens in your head to boost your own motivation. The David Goggins, "They don't know me, son."
17.
They don't know me, son.
Get it. 18.
They don't know me, son.
Get it.
Why do I think flexing is important? Simply because I strongly believe that you should think about the hard things you have done that day or that week and feel a sense of accomplishment. Especially because you know not everyone else is doing the same. It boosts your confidence and self-esteem. You know you can do something even if it was not enjoyable, even if you dreaded it. You still went ahead. You showed heart and great discipline. Why not tell yourself how great you performed just by showing up? I definitely used to be less positive before I made the switch of embracing hard things. As I pushed past my own limitations, I felt like I was capable of more. I felt I could adapt, and by doing so, I was able to look at things more positively. For example, the first time I ever entered a cold plunge, I felt like I was going to die. I thought my heart was going to pound itself out of my chest, and felt like I was never going to catch my breath back. The water was so cold that even though I was in there for just a few seconds, I was thinking I would never warm up again. After nearly 3 years of getting into an ice bath, things haven't gotten any more enjoyable, but the many hiccups that life throws at me now just don't seem that hard anymore. So yes, I flex with the cold plunge. One winter morning, when the outdoor temperature was -4 degrees Celsius here in the UK, I told my wife that I really did not want to go in the cold plunge because it was so freezing outside. As any caring wife would, she said, "That's fine, you don't have to do it." And my response was, that's exactly what a lot of other people will be thinking. And for that reason, I do have to do it. Let's move into forming. Let me be really honest with you. I called this one forming because I wanted all 3 categories to start with an F. Forming describes the personal growth that we still need to go through to become the best version of ourselves. And in my opinion, there is a huge impact doing hard things will have on our personal development. Imagine the cold winter morning. You can feel some of the cold air coming through the vents at the top of your bedroom windows. You know you said you would go to the gym today, but that was before the blanket felt so warm and cozy. Are you going to get out of bed whilst everyone else in your house is still snoozing to put on your gym gear and get out there? I guess it all depends on whether you have built that discipline. I think going through with doing the hard things will give you that discipline, because you've had some time to flex now and you can think to yourself, I did a 10k run last week despite not wanting to do it. I will do this too. Plus, if you have set yourself up for success and already laid out your gym clothes ready for the day, it will be that little bit easier. I also want to say that the hard thing you did doesn't have to be as extreme as a 10k run, by the way. It could be anything you did not want to do. Something that wasn't enjoyable and you still pushed through. For example, there might be a huge pile of ironing that needs to be done on a sunny Sunday afternoon. You really just want to sit in the sun and relax, but if you don't do the ironing, you know it's going to have to wait another week. If you decide to push through with it, you have overcome the chemical influence your brain was trying to have on you to make you choose the easy way out. I think that as we choose to do what we don't really want to, despite having another option, which is within our comfort zone, we understand ourselves a little bit better. We grow our capabilities and learn new skills. Comfort zones feel lovely, but there is magic that happens outside of those borders that we really need to explore. And one of those magical components is resilience. I don't believe I would have been capable to display the level of resilience I have today if I chose not to do the hard things. There was a time where things that happened in my life would come out in my interactions with others. I really disliked that about me as a person. And the truth is that my resilience and mental toughness just weren't at a level for me to be able to contain something that only affected me. This is something that takes work and I'm still forming, but by embracing things I don't want to do, those things do not seem as bad as they would have had in the past, allowing me to deal with them better and have more clarity to interact with those that matter in the way that I would want to. The last few things I would say around how doing hard things have formed me are overcoming fears, pretty much eradicating procrastination, and just being more creative with problem solving and idea generation. I think these all go hand in hand. Once you have pushed yourself to do something you really didn't want to do, things you used to be scared of just aren't that scary anymore. If you have decided to just put yourself out there, away from what's comfortable, putting off a task to do something less taxing doesn't seem like the best option anymore. And once you have metaphorically sat in freezing cold water, only thinking about whether your feet will ever warm up again, you seem to be able to solve problems with ease and be more creative while doing so. You are now outside of your comfort zone, so thinking outside the box seems like the norm. I have categorized the main reasons why I believe doing hard and unenjoyable things is important. You have heard from Andrew as to how it affects your brain, and I've also highlighted how it has helped me to unlock some strong benefits and fundamentally changed how I deal with life as a whole. Let me summarize the list of key benefits for you. The rewiring of your reward pathways. Rather than getting your dopamine from the easy places and quick hits that we are all so used to, we start to put in some real work to get much better and longer dose of dopamine that, in my opinion, does not spike and crash as fast as it used to. Which, as you go on this journey, makes it more and more easier to do more hard things in the long run and say goodbye to unnecessary procrastination. Building self-esteem, self-belief, and confidence. If there's one thing I would want my children to have as they enter their teenage years, it would be this. It's a tough world out there, and life will sometimes tell you that you are not good enough. So I feel it's important for us to build that inner voice that says, "Go on, my friend. You have done more than this before. You can do this too." Stronger mental toughness and resilience. Building this up as you learn to hover outside of your comfort zone makes you feel ready for future challenges and hiccups in life. You start to amend your first responses and reactions to problems and become more positive as a whole. Overcoming past fears and dealing with anxiety. If I'm afraid of something or feel a little anxious about something that has not happened yet, I go and do something hard. What I get in return is a sense of calm that whatever happens will happen and I will deal with it when it does, just as I dealt with the hard thing right now. And lastly, being more creative with problem solving and idea generation. If we always do what we have always done, especially within our comfort zones, we fail to explore the places our brain can go. We fail to expand to the horizons of skill acquisition that we can get to. Generally, the mind quits before the body does. So by pushing yourself physically, you push yourself mentally. I have solved problems that I perceived to have no solutions after doing something hard. The only difference was that I did not look at the problem the way I should have, which is this too shall pass. It's just about how I perceive it. In the end, we realize there is no solutions, only trade-offs. Whilst everything around us is being optimized for speed, ease, and convenience, I think it's important for us to take a strong look at how it is affecting us through a zoomed-out lens. Yes, it's cool that we can get food delivered within the hour, but it's not as worthwhile as spending the hour putting a homemade meal together from scratch. Yes, it's convenient that if you wanted to lose weight, there is a product on the market that will do that for you if you're willing to pay the price. But it's not as fulfilling as putting the work in if you are fit and able to do so. And of course, we feel good whilst putting everything off and deciding to stroll on our phones and watch a movie. But how great does it feel to have done all the things that needed to be done and then scroll on your phone or watch a movie? It feels like you're a superhuman. And most importantly, I really want to make sure that my son and daughter grow up with a strong anterior mid-cingulate cortex so that they can handle life setbacks, overcome them, and be the best they can be. As always, I hope this video has provoked some thoughts for those of you who have watched and listened. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments about this topic and how you all feel about the hard things in life and what you're doing to be more resilient in this world of many challenges. Thank you for watching, and please like, comment, and subscribe to help this video reach more people that could benefit from hearing this. My name is Bobby. This is Real People, Real Talk. I hope to see you soon.